beautiful sunny day here at the Midwest LSA Expo. And yes, we're looking rather pink today, but we are looking at an airplane that we've never actually reviewed on video before. It's been around since, well, a long time. This is Quicksilver's Sprint, wire braced, single seat, single surface. What's called single surface anyway, meaning these tubes out here show they're not buried inside the wing like the sport model is. And we've got somebody who has one of these things, and he has got it, from what I could tell, all tricked out. Meet Jason Pearson, and I'm Dan Johnson, and we're going to look about this airplane a little bit. But first, the Sprint is a beautiful single place, Part 103 capable airplane. Depends on how much power you got and how much stuff you got on it, whether it really meets 103 or not. But this is one of the lightest aircraft in the airspace, and it can stall. When I last flew it, I was able to see a stall of 18 or 19 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's correct, Dan.
I mean, it's like almost walking speed.
Yeah.
But Jason, you've got, you said before he sat down and got in the airplane, he said, well, let me set the parking brake, and he reached back here to a neat little component. He's got a parking brake on a Sprint. Now, I don't think I've ever seen that before. What all did you do to this airplane to add features to it?
Dan, this started out as a 92 Sprint. And
1992 this is?
1992.
Gosh, it looks, I would have thought you just built this. It really looks almost new.
I bought it 10 years ago, and I bought it used on the second owner. And at that time, I flew it for about 3 months, and then the beginning of that winter, I took it completely down into kit form and laid it all out on the floor of my hangar.
Wow.
And
right down to all the bolts and everything?
Exactly. I laid it all down, all the right wing ribs, all the left wing battens, you know, the root tube, everything laid out just like a kit. And then went and reassembled the whole plane. And I know every nut and bolt in it has been changed. It's all been upgraded. I've got I took away with the pull cables, and I've got a push-pull tube going directly out to the.
I see you've got it in. It's a little hard to tell here under the pink, but looks like it's Quicksilver blue.
Yeah, it's Quicksilver blue.
All Quicksilvers use blue anodized tubing.
It's all Quicksilver blue, and
so wiggle a stick for us here, if you can get that on your camera, Dave. You don't often see in fact, I've never seen a push-pull tube. You can see how much is moving there. I'm not moving my hand. So not much motion. That would give that a real nice solid feel. Yeah. I love cable bracing, and I like cable controls, but there's sometimes a little bit of slop in it.
A little bit, you know, and this takes it all out. And all the fork bolts that are normally in all the hinges, I replaced with all ball hinge joints, and all of the pivot points in the airplane.
Now, are you a mechanical guy that you would even tackle a project like this?
Oh yeah. I've grown up building model airplanes, and I'm crew chief for Dan Buchanan air shows right now.
Oh, are you? Okay.
So
we know and love Dan. He's a great performer.
So I've been around aviation for a long time. Always liked the grassroots elements of ultralight flying and the hands-on, being out there in the open. It's not about going fast and being fancy for me. It's about being out in the open and being grassroots about it.
You're right down in the grass, literally.
Yes, literally down.
And
Jason, I hate to mention this, but you're a little big.
Yeah, I'm a big guy. I outweigh the airplane by about 60 pounds, so I'm not no little guy. But the airplane doesn't know any different. It flies. It'll take me in and out of any strip that I want to, and it's hauled me all over Southern Illinois, up to Springfield, Indiana, Kentucky. I've gone some pretty.
You've ranged around pretty well in this solo flying airplane. Now, when you're doing those kind of flights, what's the max you can cruise at?
42 miles an hour.
42 miles an hour.
And that's
is that, do you find that a problem? Only 42?
Not at all.
I knew you were going to answer that.
Not at all. It's you turn on your MP3 player and you sit back and just enjoy the scenery and
kind of drifts by underneath.
Exactly. You just about an hour or so, you get into the airport, you tune in your little airport, and you start hollering in and grab the stick and start flying again.
Now I see you got over here on to Jason's right. He's got his. I don't know what brand it is. It's an ICOM, okay.
Yeah, I got an ICOM A22.
So there's your communications, so you can talk to towers or whoever you got to talk to, or just announce you're coming into it on a control field. Then you got a Magellan GPS here right alongside you.
And that'll just, in case I get lost or if I'm going on a long trip, I'll just punch it up. Mostly just tell me what my ground speed is.
And what do you got over here in this little box?
I got an RPM and CHT.
So some engine instruments,
just
basically.
a couple.
So I see my favorite of all instruments here, or at least the holder for my favorite of all instruments. This thing here holds a Hall wind speed meter, which is literally the only instrument I had the last time I flew a sprint. That's how I knew it stalled at 18 or 19 miles an hour. But you don't have the Hall. What's that about?
No, sir. It's now my toilet paper holder. I can hold two rolls on here, and you just drop
got
one
an
roll.
in-flight bathroom? No, that's
no,
not it.
Nope.
So.
I just drop my paperwork off. It's drop one, and then I can just drop two. And
now I know this trick that you're talking about because I've done it, and it is quite fun. But why would you want to drop a roll of toilet paper from an airplane?
Gives you something to chase down on the way down, Dan.
From the ticket here is you roll it off, and you gotta make sure it starts unraveling.
Right.
And it'll make a big long streamer, and you can turn around, cut through this thing, which toilet paper weighs nothing. It doesn't hurt anything. And when it gets to the ground, it's just all going to dissolve just like it does in that other place you use
Exactly.
it. So.
From 1,500 feet, I can cut 5-6 times.
No kidding. Wow, I tried that once. I wasn't nearly that good at it. You got a nickname for all of that?
I'm the paper cutter, I
The
guess.
paper cutter.
This plane is very maneuverable.
Well, and the fact that you can turn around, that's what you're saying. You
Yes.
can turn around so quick and get back at it.
Right.
The one I flew, I had to kind of go away, so I couldn't get it as many times. But it's really pretty cool to run into something deliberately in the air. You wouldn't try that on many airplanes. With the Quicksilver Sprint, good to go.
Yeah.
So let's go back a few moments ago in our conversation. You said you took it all down to every last bolt. That's real admirable. If you're going to go out and buy an airplane, that's really like one of the best things you could do. Not only do you learn a lot, as you said, but you're going to know the quality of every component of it. All right, now you got it all laid out all over your floor. How long did it take you to get it back together?
It took about 3.5 months, and that's not steady work. You know, it's just on the weekends and a couple hours at night. You know, after work. It took about 3.5 months. The whole sail is a custom-made sail.
Is it? You had new sails done?
Yeah, I had new sails done.
Yeah, because they
at
look
the
real
time.
fresh and good. There
Yeah.
is a way of testing these. These are Dacron sails. This is not Dopin fabric. This is like a sailboat sail. And they're sewn together. You can see the lines of stitching on here for those that don't know that kind of aircraft. It's a very durable and good surface. It makes a great wing, but it is subject to sunlight degradation. And so you need to punch test them with a certain instrument periodically. You put new ones on it just to solve that problem.
Exactly, and then I got a custom-made rudder too. I've got Snoopy on the tail.
Okay.
So I'm known as Snoopy.
Very cool. What engine are you running
It's
here?
a Rotex 447.
447.
Yeah,
The old, good old 447
40
single
horse,
carb, I see.
Single carb, pull starter. I painted the shroud just to match the airplane. Got the big man He-Man bar on here that I painted. Big C.
Now, why did you put the big He-Man bar on?
Well, I'm a big guy. I got the big seat. It's real comfortable.
It's not very often that we run into a pilot who weighs more than his airplane.
It's very.
And that's not even a statement about you. It's mainly a statement about how light this airplane is.
It is a very light airplane. You can stand out on one wingtip and with one arm just pick the airplane up on one wheel. No problem. You really have to watch the weather also. Keep it tied down. A strong thermal coming through the ramp will pick the airplane up and put it up on end.
Well, it wants to fly right away. We already
Exactly.
discussed that. If it stalls at 18, it means it wants to fly at 18.
Correct.
But this is one of the strongest airplanes that I ever flown or know about yet.
It is very strong. Even with my weight, I'll go up and I'll spin it and I'll split S it, all kinds of stuff. And I'm not really loading the airplane up very much. It's just it'll handle it.
Well,
the
if you
wire
point this
bracing
thing
is
into
very
a straight
strong.
nose down dive and go as fast as you can, you're still only going to go, what, 50, 55 miles
Exactly.
an hour like
There's
that?
so much drag with the wires.
You just can't really hit its limits. And these things, they may look kind of thin and spindly. We all know what steel cable is like, pretty strong stuff, but is it really strong enough to hold an airplane? Absolutely. In fact, you can get rid of a couple of these and it'll still stay together just fine.
Jim Hanbury proved that.
Jim Hanbury proved it. Cut several of these
Yes.
until he had one left. And even then he had to shake and horse around the airplane to make it fail. He was up there to do a parachute test. We don't advise anyone do that at home, but it does show just how strong this is.
Right.
This is for redundancy. Not all of these are even needed. Well, Jason, this is really cool. You've owned this airplane now how long yourself?
10 years.
10 years?
Yep.
I hope you get another 10 or 20 years out of it. I'll bet you can.
I do too. Hey, thank you, Dan. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
And yes, I have a pilot report on this one. It was one of my great pleasures several years ago. And I think every airplane Quicksilver makes, and you can find that on buydanjohnson.com or bydanjohnson.com.